Archaeologists unearth remarkable lost underwater civilization using magnetic field technology. The more that time passes since the heyday of an ancient civilization, the more mysterious that civilization becomes. And while it's the life's work of archaeologists to unravel those mysteries, the ravages of time have a way of making that difficult. After all, archaeologists can only find the artifacts that managed to survive thousands of years of unpredictable natural processes. Nature has a way of destroying evidence. This makes it especially exciting when an ancient civilization is discovered underwater, as finding ruins in the world's vast bodies of water is very much akin to finding a needle in a haystack. And that goes double when that discovery fundamentally changes people's understanding of the ancient world. Although the lost city of Atlantis described by Plato only seems to exist in legends, that hasn't stopped people from holding out hope of its existence. For many, the idea that an ancient civilization could still be thriving under the known world is an attractive proposition that inspires endless curiosity. But while that thought remains attractive, thousands of years after Plato's writings, it actually isn't unheard of for archaeologists to find deep sea evidence of lost communities. As is the case for this ancient Roman statue, these lost cities once stood on land but found themselves submerged amid changes in sea level and other natural forces. But while it doesn't evoke the kind of sophisticated wonder that imaginings of Atlantis tend to suggest, one lost ancient civilization has been the subject of great archaeological interest in recent decades, and that's partially because its existence fundamentally changes humanity's understanding of ancient Europe. According to National Geographic, the British Isles have only been islands for the last 6,000 years. Before that, they were connected to the rest of Europe by an area known as Doggerland. And while the existence of this region explains how early humans were able to spread throughout Europe without having to deal with the North Sea, Doggerland was far more than a land bridge. For humanity's earliest relatives, it was a paradise. National Geographic reported that at the tail end of the last ice age, Doggerland was a lush region filled with rolling hills, densely wooded valleys, wetlands, and swamps. As such, it was able to support a society of hunter-gatherers when much of the world at the time wasn't. As disappointing as it may be to hear, this ancient area wasn't called Doggerland because it featured an abundance of dogs. Instead, The Guardian reported the name is based on a stretch of seabed known as the Dogger Bank that would have been part of the area. The bank is named for the Dogger fishing boats that sailed the area during the 17th century. According to The Guardian, Doggerland stood for long enough that not only were early humans able to forage there, but so too were the beings that predated them. And that's not limited to Neanderthals, as even the common ancestor humanity shares with them, known as Homo antecessor, had a chance to wander those ancient lands. Residents of Doggerland migrated in pursuit of animals to hunt and fish to catch, but they also foraged for local plant-based food sources. Hazelnuts and berries were notable examples of what one could expect to find in Doggerland. Since Doggerland once connected the United Kingdom to the Netherlands, among other nations, artifacts dating back thousands of years have occasionally washed up on Dutch beaches. And while employees of the National Museum of Antiquities in Leiden often assist in analyzing these artifacts, The Guardian reported that it's not often archaeologists who find them. According to The Guardian, the museum has about 200 artifacts that originated from Doggerland. And while they largely consist of the fossils of hunted animals like mammoths, deer, and hyenas, there's also a fragment of a young male Neanderthal among them. And as the museum's assistant curator, Dr. Sascha van der Vaart Verschoof, said, "We have a wonderful community of amateur archaeologists who almost daily walk these beaches and look for the fossils and artifacts." But one of the most important discoveries to come from Doggerland wasn't a fossil at all. Instead, it's a flint tool dating back about 50,000 years that was made from the pitch of a birch tree. What makes this tool so important is the fact that it demonstrates the Neanderthals weren't quite as primitive as humanity once thought. As The Guardian put it, they were capable of precise and complex, multi-stage tasks. While it existed above the surface, the abundance of natural resources on Doggerland made it no less than the heart of Europe for its many generations of inhabitants. But as the Ice Age drew to a close, this vast region slowly started to vanish.